Chapter 2 of Elmer and the Dragon. Storm. They flew all morning high above the endless blue and white waves. Elmer sat feeling the wind on his face, listening to the whir of the dragon's wings and watching the compass to make sure they were going in the right direction. "I see a rock down there," said the dragon in the late afternoon. "Let's rest a bit." "Good idea," said Elmer. The dragon circled down to the rock, landing on all 4 feet. Elmer unpacked 11 tangerines, and as he and the dragon ate, they watched the sky turn from blue to gray and then to dark gray. "Looks like a storm," said Elmer. "Yes," said the dragon. "Do you think we'd better wait here or go on?" "If the wind's bad and the waves will wash right over this rock," said Elmer. "But if we keep going, maybe we can fly away from the storm." "Let's hurry on," said the dragon, and up they flew while the waves grew whiter and wilder. "I felt a drop of rain," said Elmer, looking up at the blackening sky. Suddenly a ferocious wind rushed up from behind, pushing them forward faster and faster. Thunder crackled all around them, and cold, hard rain beat down upon them. "I wish I had my raincoat," yelled Elmer. "I wish it weren't raining," panted the dragon. "My wings are getting heavy and I can't fly very well. Besides, I hate thunder." The wind blew harder and the rain was colder. Elmer looked at his compass and cried through the rumbling storm. "We're going in the wrong direction." "I can't help it. The wind's too strong. I can't fight against it," screamed the dragon. Elmer put away his compass and looked down at the thrashing spray. He could hear the dragon breathing hard, and he watched his wings beating slower and slower. He wondered how long the tired dragon could fly through the crashing storm. "I can't go on," puffed the dragon, and he sank through the rain near to the cold, wild water. Elmer shut his eyes and held on as hard as he could, trying not to cry or think about home. "I'm sorry," huffed the dragon, "that I couldn't keep my promise." "Oh, it's all right. You did your best," sobbed Elmer. And then the dragon sank lower, closer to the water. Splash! "Elmer, we're safe. I landed on sand," yelled the dragon. "But don't get off, because the water's up to my knees." Elmer opened his eyes and looked around, but it was too dark to see anything. "Are you very comfortable?" he screamed above the noise of the storm. "It's not too bad," shrieked the dragon, "but I think the water's getting deeper." "Gosh, maybe you're sinking in quicksand." "No, I don't think so. Anyway, where else can I go? We'll just have to wait here. Why don't you take a nap? I can sleep standing up, you know." "A nap in the middle of the ocean in the middle of a storm? Why not? There's nothing else to do." So Elmer lay down along the dragon's back. They were both so tired that they fell asleep while the thunder boomed all around them. "Elmer, Elmer, my stomach's underwater," cried the dragon, suddenly waking up an hour later. Elmer looked around. The storm was nearly over, but all he could see was drizzly rain and the water lapping against the dragon's stomach. "Poor dragon, would you like a pink lollipop?" asked Elmer, deciding that this was a real emergency. "I'd rather have a cup of hot milkweed milk, but I guess a lollipop would help," said the dragon. Elmer unpacked one for himself and one for the dragon, and then carefully crawled along the dragon's neck until he could put the lollipop into his mouth. "It does help a little," shivered the dragon. As they were sucking their pink lollipops in the middle of the ocean, the drizzly rain turned into thick, thick fog, and then the water began to get shallower. "My stomach's out of the water again," announced the dragon cheerfully. "I know why the water goes up and down," exclaimed Elmer. "It's the tide, and we're on a sandbar near some land. And just as soon as the fog lifts, we'll be able to see what kind of land it is." "I hope it's dry land," said the dragon. All night the water got shallower and shallower, and Elmer and the dragon were too excited to sleep. Finally, as the sun rose, even the dragon's feet were out of the water, and the fog began to rise. Oh, well, that was it for chapter 2, which went by kind of quick. I've got Hannah and Jordan sitting here with me. What do you think, girls? Do you want to hear one more chapter?
Yeah. Yes, please, please.
All right, girls, you want to say hi to my class?
Hi.
All right, so we'll do one more chapter. We'll do chapter 3, the sandbar. The fog rolled along the sandbar and out over the water, and suddenly Elmer shouted, "There, behind you! Look at that pretty little green island." "Oh, Elmer, I can't move. Oh, Elmer, I hurt all over." The dragon grunted and groaned and strained and struggled, but he was too stiff to move at all. "Elmer, do you really see dry land not far off?" "Nice, near, dry green land, and the water's shallow all the way. Are you sure you can't move?" "I'll try again." "How stupid! I can't even see the land after waiting here for it all night long in the soaking wet water," complained the dragon. glaring at the miles of ocean before him, which was all he could see. Elmer walked around to the dragon's head and pretended not to notice that he was crying. Elmer, I guess I'm not much of a dragon. A little storm comes along and forces me down, and I stand in a little water for a while, and it makes me so stiff that I can't move a single muscle. That's not true, said Elmer. It was a big storm, and you stood in a lot of cold water for a very long time. And besides, you're only a baby dragon, and you're not used to flying long distances. But as soon as the sun dries you off, you'll be unstiff again. Have another lollipop. Thanks, Elmer. But you'd better get unstiff pretty quick, because the tide will come in, and you'll be up to your stomach in water again. No, whimpered the dragon. Well, I'll hang out on your neck and see if it will bend, suggested the Elmer. He jumped up and caught the dragon's neck. He dangled for a moment, and then both he and the neck lumped down to the sand. Ouch, groaned Elmer and the dragon. Now, can you see the island between your legs? The dragon carefully curled his head under to look, and then he shouted, I see it now, Elmer. It's really there. What a lovely little dry island. Now help me limber up my right front leg. Elmo pulled very hard on the dragon's right front leg until it would bend. Then he worked on the left back leg and the left front leg and the right back leg and started all over again with the right front leg. At last the dragon could turn around and walk. By now it was hot. The sun and the steam rose up along the dragon's back as the sun beat down on his water-soaked wings. Elmer started for the island and the dragon hobbled slowly behind. They went along the sandbar as far as they could go and then waded into the shallow water. Elmer was still wearing his black rubber boots, but the dragon muttered, "Ugh, I hate oceans," as he splashed along stiff-leggedly. Finally, they came to a pebbly beach of the tiny island. Above them rose a cliff, and green vines hung over the edge, making a pool of shade. Elmer and the dragon sat down and ate 15 tangerines, leaving 43 more in the knapsack. I wonder who lives on this island, said Elmer, wiping his mouth on his sleeve. I think that's a path over there. Come on, let's go exploring. I'm afraid I'll have to rest a while longer, said the dragon. My wings are still wet and heavy, and I'm awfully hungry. Tangerine peels don't really fill me up, and I'm terribly thirsty, and maybe I'm going to faint. Then you rest here in the shade while I go to look for food and water, said Elmer, as he picked up his knapsack and went off to follow the little path. All right, we're going to pause there. The next chapter is chapter 4. So I'd like you to take a moment to have a prediction in your head. Is Elmer going to find some food for the dragon? Is the dragon going to stay miserable, or are they going to be able to solve their problem of hunger and thirst? And also, what do you think they might find on this island? Are they there alone, or are there any other creatures or possibly humans? All right, we'll see you next time.